Hello friends, welcome to my channel. Today we are going to discuss about Cavalier poets. So first of all we discuss about what is poetry. Poetry is a type of literature based on the interplay of words and rhythm. It often employs rhyme and meter, means a set of rules governing the number of arrangement of syllables in each line. In poetry, words are strung together to form sounds, images, and ideas that might be too complex or abstract to describe directly. There are three main kinds of poetry that are narrative, dramatic, and lyrical, and its subtypes are ballad, free verse, haiku, limerick, and many more as you can see in the screen. Uh, the earliest Western Asian epic poetry, that is the Epic of Gilgamesh, it was written by Sumerian. Greek epics are Iliad and Odyssey, and Indian Sanskrit epics are Ramayana and Mahabharata. So let's come with the topic, that is the classical period, in which we will discuss about Homeric and heroic period. It is from 1200 to 800 BCE. The classical period was a golden age for literature and the arts, orally including Homer and Odyssey. This is a great writers from the Iliad and Odyssey. And our next topic is the classical period. The classical Greek period from 800 to 200 BCE. Greek writers, playwrights, and philosophers include Gorgias, Oedipus Fables, Plato's Republic, Socrates, Aristotle Poetics, Achilles Euripides, and Scoplux. The 5th century in the particular is, as you can see in the screen. Classical Roman period from 200 BCE to 455 CE. Greece culture gave way to Roman power when Rome conquered Greece in 146 CE. Roman literature owes a debt to the Greeks, more specifically Athens. Playwrights of this time include Plato and Terence. Roman writers include Ovid's The Metamorphoses, Horace's Ars Poetica, and Virgil's Aeneid. Roman Roman rhetoricians include Circio and Institutio Oratoria is a 12-volume textbook on the theory of practice rhetoric by Roman rhetorician Quintilian. Our next poet is Homer. He is called a blind bard, born sometime between the 12th and 8th centuries BC. He wrote his poem in medias res and used variety of literary devices such as metaphors. Authors of Iliad and Odyssey, two epic poems, are written by him. The Iliad is set during the Trojan War. It focuses on a quarrel between King Agamemnon and the warrior Achilles. The Odyssey focuses on the 10-year journey home of Odysseus, king of Ithaca, after the fall of Troy. Homer's The Odyssey has parallel in James Joyce's Ulysses, and his tale of Achilles in the Iliad is echoed in J.R.R. Tolkien's The Fall of Godolin. Next work is the Iliad by Homer. It is a war literature. Its theme is love and friendship, fate and free will, and honor. We can say that it's about character, and you can check every information of character in screen. Now we can also discuss about the Iliad's summary. After 9 years of war, Achilles refuses to fight because Agamemnon has taken his prize called Briseis. Next, Thetis, the mother of Achilles. This is a little summary we will discuss. Thetis appeals to Zeus, God, to punish the Achaeans, and Zeus agrees. An agreement between the enemies is soon broken and war continue. Paris and Hector both fight. Zeus drives back the Achaeans. Hector kills many before night. Odysseus and Diomedes, Achaean fighters, raid the Trojan army outside the city. The Trojans advance and wound many Achaeans. After Hector and the Trojan reach the ships, Patroclus enters the battle and is killed by Hector. With new armor received from the gods, Achilles returns to the war and kills Hector. After King Priam's personal appeal to bury his son, Achilles returns Hector's body. After morrowing, Hector's body is burned and his bones are buried. Now come to the Odyssey, the work Odyssey. We will discuss about its summary. It's a little information you can see on the screen. Now we will discuss summary, and that is, after ending of the Trojan War, Odysseus on his journey home to first after ending of the Trojan War. Odysseus is on journey home to Ithaca. Odysseus and his men face many obstacles while sailing home. His men are killed. Odysseus' raft, wooden boat, reaches on the island of Callisto and he is held captive for 7 years. Odysseus is then rescued by Hermes at Athena's request. Suitors surround Penelope and Telemachus, but Telemachus leaves to find news of Odysseus. Odysseus sails to the land of the Phaeacians and tells about his journey. Odysseus returned to Ithaca in disgrace and with Telemachus plot revenge on the suitors. Odysseus or Telemachus kill the suitor with Athena's help. Odyssey and Penelope are reunited. Odysseus visits his father and offers a sacrifice to Poseidon so his family can live in peace. Now we'll discuss about Pindar from 522 to 443 BC. Pindaric Ode. What is Pindaric Ode? There are three types of stanza in each ode based choral position. Pindar was an ancient Greek lyric poet from Thebes. Antistrophe and epode. Strophe, antistrophe, and epode. It's a type of Pindaric ode. A variation of Pindaric they called irregular ode was developed by Abraham Cowley in 17th century. The Progress of Poesy, a Pindaric ode by Thomas Gray. Now we'll discuss about Virgil from 70 to 19 BC. He's a Roman poet of Augustan period, known for the Eclogius and the epic Aeneid. Aeneid was being considered the national epic of ancient Rome. It tells a legendary story of Aeneas, a Trojan who traveled to Italy where he became the ancestor of Romans. It comprises 9,896 lines in dactylic hexameter. Aeneid is modeled on Homer's Iliad and Odyssey. Virgil influenced Dante's Divine Comedy, in which Virgil appeared as Dante's guide through hell and purgatory. Ovid's parodies. Aeneid in Amours and in Metamorphoses, Juvenal was a Roman poet active in late 1st and early 2nd century AD. He is the author of collection of satirical poems known as satires. The satires have inspired many authors including Samuel Johnson, who modeled his London on satire 3 and the vanity of human wishes on satire 10th. Now we'll discuss about Ovid. Ovid was born as Publius Ovidius Naso in Rome to a prosperous family. He lived during the region of Augustus. He worked at Roman government earlier and later he quit to become a writer. His first work, Amours, accounts the poet's love affair. It is a book of love poetry. Ars Amatoria, or the what we can say that the art of love, didactic elegiac poem in 3 books that sets out to reach the arts of seduction and love, includes naughty poems. Horace was the leading Roman lyric poet during the time of Augustus. Ars Poetica, or the art of poetry, is a poem in which he advises poet on the art of writing poetry and drama. Metamorphosis, it is a most well-known work. In this, Dante, Chaucer, and Shakespeare were very much influenced by this work. It is a long poem of 15 books composed in dactylic hexameter verse. Metamorphosis is an epic poetry. It begins with the creation of the world and ends with the rise to power of Augustus in Rome. Characters are Jupiter, Juno, Venus, Apollo, Minerva, and Diane. He opens the poem with an invocation to the muse. The poem settings are from real life locations such as Greece, Troy, and ancient Rome, as well as mythic locations such as the home of the sun and Hades, the home of the dead. Now we will discuss about the earliest English poetry, that is Cadimon's Hymn on Creation. It is 7th century poem according to Bede historian. Cadimon, who was, according to legend, an illiterate herdsman who produced extemporaneous poetry at a monastery at Whitby. This is generally taken as marking the beginning of Anglo-Saxon poetry. This work is often considered the oldest poem in English. The poem Beowulf is the most famous work of Old English literature. Now we will discuss about the Anglo-Saxon chronicle during the reign of Alfred the Great. Has also proven significant for historical study, preserving a chronology of early English history. The most important manuscripts are the 4 great poetical codices of the late 10th and early 11th centuries known as the Cadman manuscript or Junius manuscript or the Versailles book. The Exeter book is an anthology located in Exeter Cathedral since it was donated there in the 11th century. The Beowulf manuscript sometimes called the Novel Codex, contains prose and poetry, typically dealing with monotonous themes including Beowulf. Beowulf was followed by other poetical works like Widsith and Exeter book. The authorship of these poetical works is not known. Life in all these poems is sorrowful, and the speakers are fatalistic through at the same time courageous and determined. The English passion for the sea and the adventurous life is well illustrated by The Seafarer, a lyric poem of great power with a similar mood of the hardship, the fascination, and melancholy of the sea. It have a religious themes. Two names are connected with Christian poetry, that is Caedmon and Cynewulf. Caedmon's work was historical while Cynewulf's work was mythical. Three outstanding poems on biblical themes are Genesis B, The Dream of the Road, and The Story of Judith or the Book of Judith. The language used is rough. Its words are hard and metallic. Accordingly, the poetry is also crude and rough, monotonous and artificial versification due to excessive use of alliteration. Cheerless gloom and temper of the poems, as most of them dealt with fake making short work of man and his achievements. Wordsworth, the oldest poem in the English language. The title of the poem means a wide wanderer. It is the wandering of the minstrel or traveling singer or musician. He speaks of the feudal audiences and sings of various wars. Contains 150 lines. Next, the complaint of Dior. Dior also is a minstrel, but he is not a wanderer. The poem is lyrical in form, with a definite refrain, and may be called the first English lyric, having 42 lines, 7 unequal sections, ending with a Christian consolation. Next is Worsley Book. The Old English manuscript contains prose sermons and 3500 lines of Old English poetry. The Dream of the Rood, Andreas, Elene, and the Fate of Apostles. So, friend, if you like this video, please like, subscribe, and share my channel so we can help you more in English literature. Thank you.